Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris. It's another amazing episode of Financipation. This channel is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth, and it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. On this channel, everybody, I give you a six-figure MBA level worth of investing and financial knowledge for free here on YouTube. And the things that people typically spend hundreds of thousands of dollars learning in grad school, I give it to you for free here on Financipation. Also, before I get started, I also want to give a shout out to Killica Solutions. They're one of my sponsors. If you need digital marketing, website development, or something to essentially edit your YouTube videos, they're the best in the business at meeting all of your digital needs. And please hit that notification bell, okay? So that way you know when I drop my weekly content. So, health savings accounts, or HSAs, are arguably the greatest investment tool that are available to most Americans, as they offer you what I like to call a triple threat when it comes to building generational wealth. So sit down, everyone, and let's get ready as we talk about health savings accounts in this podcast. First off, to start at the beginning, what exactly are health savings accounts? So HSAs are also called health savings accounts, and for the rest of this particular podcast, I'm going to call it health savings accounts, HSAs. HSAs, everybody, are tax advantaged accounts that allow you to set money aside for qualified medical expenses. So let's say you work for an employer that offers high deductible HSAs. It's possible, everybody, to have an HSA, and it's also possible to have health insurance through a national provider at the same time, such as Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Health, Aetna, Cigna, or Kaiser Permanente. So yes, you can have an HSA account that you use primarily for your investment purposes, and you can have a statewide healthcare provider like Kaiser Permanente to handle all of your medical expenses. For example, my wife and I got pregnant. We used Kaiser Permanente to handle all of our medical expenses, and we used our HSA account essentially as another 401k or a Roth IRA investment tool. So as a result, this allowed us to cover the very expensive medical procedures of having a baby, and it allowed us to simultaneously invest as much money as possible into our tax efficient HSA investment accounts every year. So in other words, I had Kaiser Permanente to handle all of my medical expenses, and I used my HSA essentially as another 401k or Roth IRA investment account. Now, let's talk about when HSAs were created and why they were created. So HSAs were created in 2003 as part of the Medical Prescription Drug Improvement and Modernization Act that was signed into law by George W. Bush. They were created to replace the medical savings accounts system, which was created in the early 1990s. The idea and the goal of the HSA was to provide tax advantage accounts for people with high deductible health plans, or HDHPs, to save money while they were also paying for qualified and expensive medical procedures. Once again, everybody, health savings accounts, or HSAs, are designed to be used in conjunction with high deductible health plans. In English, everyone, this means that HSAs require the account holder to pay for the deductible before the insurance company starts covering your eligible expenses. Now, let's talk about the advantages of HSAs and why I consider them to be one of the most powerful investment tools in the United States of America. So, the first major advantage of HSAs is that they lower your taxable income. Taxes, everybody, are an integral part of our society in America. And if you live in the United States of America, you are going to pay taxes. It's as simple as that. The good thing, however, is that with HSAs is that you invest into your HSA account, it lowers the amount of taxable income that the IRS will charge you. For example, let's say you make $70,000 a year and you invest $4,000 into your HSA account. Well, because you invested $4,000 into your HSA account, the IRS is only going to charge you $66,000 a year, and they're not going to charge you the $70,000 that you made that year. So the first major benefit of HSAs is they can legally lower your taxable income. Next, the next major advantage of HSAs is that they grow tax-free. At the time of this recording in 2024, the gains that your investments make in your HSA accounts do not get taxed by the IRS. So think of the HSA account as your bank account, similar to a Wells Fargo or a Chase Bank or something like that. Well, with Wells Fargo or Chase Bank, you put money in dollar bills into your bank account for your checking or your savings accounts. Before an IRA, a 401k, or an HSA account, buying stocks, buying bonds, buying mutual funds, or buying index funds is how you essentially put money into your HSA account. And buying a stock for your HSA is kind of like putting money into your bank account. So, for example, I'm a mechanical engineer. I live in a world full of numbers. I give examples for everything that I use. Imagine if you and your wife invest $425 a month or $5,000 every year into your HSA account. And let's say you buy $5,000 worth of low cost total stock market index funds that average about 11% every year for 40 years. People, that means in 40 years, based off the amount of compound interest you would accrue, you would have around $3.5 million waiting for you in retirement. So once again, imagine being 25 years old, investing $425 every month or $5,000 every year. By the time you were 65, everybody, once again, you would have nearly $4 million waiting for you in retirement. And best of all, the IRS would not tax you on that money, as the money that grows in HSAs, they grow tax-free. The second major advantage, everybody, of HSAs is that they grow tax-free. Next. Oh yeah, before I go any further, please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop new content. Please hit that like button. Please share the video. Please subscribe. Once again, I thoroughly enjoy giving you an MBA level worth of investing and financial knowledge for free here on YouTube. Next. The next major advantage of HSA is that they can be used for qualified medical expenses. Full disclosure, everybody, when my wife and I had our kids, we had HSA accounts, and we also had our employer-sponsored national health insurance policies through a Kaiser Permanente. And just like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I use this national provider for all of our medical expenses, like hospital visits, medical surgeries, and yes, pregnancies and having babies. And we also use our HSA account essentially as another Roth IRA or investment account. And every year we maxed out what we put into the HSA. Now, let me give you once again a practical example of how this works. Once again, I'm an engineer and I like giving practical examples for everything that I do. We essentially, everybody, had two medical accounts. We had the high deductible HSA and we had the Kaiser Permanente national medical insurance provider. I invested roughly $8,300 every year into the HSA annual, or I essentially maxed out depending on what year that it was. And I also paid the high deductible charges for our HSA accounts. So after I paid my $6,000 for my wife to deliver our baby, or for whatever medical procedures that we had that particular year, our insurance would cover 80% of the cost, and we would pay the remaining 20% of the cost for any medical procedure that came up, once again, because we hit our deductible. But for the HSAs, everybody, I never tapped into the $8,300 that I put into it. I once again treated my HSA like an investment tool, and I never touched it. I wanted to make sure that the money that I put into my HSA account was a legitimate investment. I took full advantage of the compounding interest year after year. So at the time of this recording, everybody, in 2024, if you are single, you can invest approximately $4,150 into your HSA account. And if you're married, you can invest approximately $8,300 into your HSA account. So imagine if you and your wife invest $690 a month or $8,300 every year into your HSA account, and you invest into a good total stock market index fund that averages about 11% every year, and you do that for 40 years. People, once again, in 40 years, you would have approximately $5.5 million waiting for you in retirement. So for me in my house, I always treated the HSA literally like another investment account. And I just threw money into it and I never touched it. What is cool, however, is that if I had wanted to, I could have taken the $6,000 out of that $8,300 that I invested into the HSA for a medical emergency like my wife's pregnancy, or for like shoulder surgery, or for something else that we could have potentially had. And I would not have gotten penalized for taking the money out early, because with the HSA account, you don't get penalized for qualified medical emergencies. So another advantage of the HSA is that in addition to the fact that they grow tax-free, they lower your taxable income, they also allow you to take money out of them without incurring a penalty, as long as you do it for a qualified medical expense. Next, the next major advantage of HSA is that they are flexible and they allow you literally a ton of investment options. So if you work in corporate America, you are well aware of the fact that there are a wide variety of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, index funds, and other passive forms and active forms of investments that you flat out cannot invest into, depending on where you work. The thing I personally love the most about HSA is that because they are an employee-owned account and they are not an employer-owned account, you can invest into pretty much anything that you want. So with your HSA portfolio, you can invest into the index funds, you can invest into mutual funds, you can invest into REITs, you can invest into ETFs, you can invest into stocks, bonds, annuities, precious metals, and pretty much any fund or any type of commodity that you want. So for a long-term investor like me who loves the S&P 500 and who loves index funds, it allows an economic gold mine for me because I can invest literally into anything that I want. And I can also invest into time-proven and time-honored investment accounts in stocks. So the next major advantage of HSA is that they are flexible. You can invest into pretty much anything with them, regardless of where you work and regardless of where you live. Next, the next major advantage of HSA is that they are portable and they travel with you from company to company, employer to employer, state to state. So unlike a company-sponsored 401k, 403b, or some other type of employer-sponsored retirement account, HSAs are not tied in any way, shape, form, or fashion to the company that you work for. So that means if you get fired or you get furloughed or you go to a better job or you have an opportunity to look for a better job, that HSA account is yours and so are the funds that are in it. If you have an HSA, it's very easy to simply roll the money from one employer to the next employer without giving a second thought. In fact, the money in your HSA account remains available for future qualified medical expenses, even if you change health insurance plans, leave for a different employer, or flat out simply retire. The next major advantage of HSAs is that they are extremely portable. They travel with you, they go from job to job, and they follow you for the entirety of your investment life. Next, the next major advantage of HSA is that they can be rolled over from year to year and continue to grow without penalty and without them going to zero. So one of the biggest misconceptions that I have from a lot of my clients when I'm talking about HSAs is that they unfortunately assume that HSAs, which are health savings accounts, are essentially the same thing as FSAs, which are flexible spending accounts. When in reality, both concepts and both investment tools are literally completely different. They're miles apart. FSAs, for instance, or flexible spending accounts, don't roll over from year to year. They're essentially use it or lose it accounts that have to be spent by the end of the year. Whereas HSAs are essentially investment accounts and are kind of like souped up Roth IRAs on steroids that roll over and compound from year to year, year after year, decade after decade. Next major advantage of HSA is they can be rolled over from year to year, and over a few decades, this will literally make you a millionaire. And in closing, the last major benefit of HSAs is that for my higher income earners that make over $150,000 a year, unlike for the Roth IRA, with the HSA, you can still contribute to the max. At the time of this recording, you can be a multi-millionaire athlete and still have an HSA account. So in closing, everyone, I want to reiterate the point that HSAs are the epitome of a triple threat as they grow tax-free, they lower your taxable income, they have tax-free withdrawals for qualified medical expenses, and there are no income limits required for them. In order to qualify for an HSA, you must have a qualified high-deductible health plan through your employer, and second, you can't be enrolled in Medicare, and lastly, you can't be claimed as a dependent on anyone else's tax returns. So in closing, everyone, I would highly advise anyone that is listening to this podcast to walk into their HR manager's desk on Monday morning and ask them whether or not you qualify for an HSA account. Once again, at the time of this recording in 2024, you can invest $4,150 into your HSA account if you are single. And if you are married, you can invest approximately $8,300 into it in the year 2024. So whether you are single or you are married, I would highly advise you once again to max out your HSA account every year and invest into low cost total stock market index funds or into stocks that follow and track the S&P 500. From an investment standpoint and from an investment perspective, HSAs are arguably one of the best investment tools in America to help you build generational wealth and to help you financially emancipate yourself from poverty. This channel, everybody, is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth, and it's all about financially emancipating yourself from poverty. You can book a one-on-one session with me at any point. I'm not giving you financial advice on this channel, everybody. You must make responsible decisions based on the thorough, independent research that you do for yourself. Check out my website, www.therealfinancipation.com. Check out my Instagram, @thereal_financipation. My Spotify page is called Financipation. My TikTok page is called Financipation. My Facebook page is called Financipation. And check out my financial blog, Financipation, as well. Also, check out some of my digital, my e-products below. Hit that notification bell. Please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe. Thank you, Killer Good Solutions, for all these dope graphics. And it's your boy, Chris, everybody. I'm out. Peace. Peace.